as the immigrants they've arrested and the citizens who get in their way. The protesters are unwavering, passionate, dedication that has some accusing them of being compensated.
A salty fog cloaks the Sinaloa coast, Mexico, hiding the impenetrable stronghold of the Sinaloa Cartel, a criminal empire with its own army secret passageways and a massive arsenal. But at 3 a.m., more than 3,000 elite American forces, from SEALs to Marines, supported by precision strikes from drones, Tomahawk missiles, and Abrams tanks, execute a bold, never-before-seen operation to dismantle the deadliest criminal organization in the world. Will they rescue the hostages and bring this fortress to its knees? Drop a comment below and stay tuned, because the shocking truth behind this historic victory will leave you speechless. Don't forget to subscribe to discover the full heart-pounding story. At 4:12 a.m. on June 14th, the Sinaloa coast of Mexico, veiled in a dense, salty fog, received the final encrypted command from the Pentagon to naval forces positioned offshore, triggering an operation U.S. generals described as unprecedented in the history of fighting organized crime. More than 3,000 American troops, from SEALs and Marine Corps Unit 11 to Army Special Forces and Naval Tactical Intelligence units, stood locked in at their launch points, synchronized with overwhelming support from Arleigh Burke. Class destroyers M109, A7 Paladin self-propelled howitzers, and MQ-20 Avenger UAVs armed with near-flawless AI-powered target recognition systems. Their target wasn't just another military base or barracks, it was the very heart of the Sinaloa Cartel, a criminal stronghold buried deep in the coastal jungle. Surrounded by rugged limestone mountains and overlooking the Pacific Ocean, it was fortified with concrete bunkers, hidden tunnels leading to the sea, and dozens of strategically positioned firing spots. Guarded by over 2,500 armed fighters, the cartel's forces were outfitted with 50mm machine guns, RPGs, Strela shoulder-fired missiles, heavily modified armored vehicles, and armed speedboats. This was no ordinary drug gang, it was an entire army functioning like a rogue nation beneath the surface. For years, this land was an impenetrable no-go zone. Mexican police dared not enter the DEA, and Allied forces had repeatedly failed to break it down. And international journalists who ventured too close either vanished without a trace or were found in sealed coffins. But everything changed just days before the operation, when 4 American citizens were kidnapped in Mazatlan, a coastal tourist hub. Satellite intelligence confirmed they were taken to the cartel's command bunker, where they were destined to be smuggled across the border into a Central American human trafficking network. Meanwhile, a top-secret DEA report revealed that this very facility was responsible for producing and exporting massive quantities of fentanyl. For Washington, this had escalated far beyond a typical criminal case or routine arrest operation. The Sinaloa cartel was now seen as a strategic threat, and it had to be treated as a hostile armed force. The operation order was signed by the president in the White House Situation Room with clear directives. The mission must be completed within 800 minutes. All hostages must be rescued. The leadership must be neutralized or captured. The cartel's defensive and production infrastructure must be destroyed, and 0 civilian casualties were to occur. From the command deck of the USS Bataan, augmented reality screens flickered to life, displaying every target highlighted in red and simulating the tunnels in intricate 3D detail. In the pitch-black waters offshore, turbine engines roared to life. Self-propelled artillery locked onto their coordinates. Helicopter rotors sliced through the night air, and those specially trained for this moment knew that when the clock hit 3, everything would ignite with the precision of heart surgery. The only difference this time, the heart to be saved, was the lives of hundreds of innocent hostages, and the entity to be excised was a criminal empire long considered untouchable. For nearly 3 years leading up to June 14th, the Sinaloa cartel had transformed from a notorious criminal organization into a paramilitary force fortified with layers of defense. Sophisticated asymmetric warfare tactics and territorial control that rivaled those of a conventional armed force. From 2022 to early 2025, at least 5 large-scale operations by the DEA U.S. Special Forces and allied Mexican security units ended in failure. Operation Desert Fang in September 2022 marked one of the first attempts when SEAL Team 4, joined by Mexican Naval Special Forces, infiltrated a major fentanyl warehouse on the outskirts of Culiacan. But just 12 minutes after breaching, a convoy of Cartel armored vehicles emerged from 3 directions, unleashing heavy machine gun fire and RPGs. The team was forced to retreat in disarray, their mission unraveling in the face of overwhelming cartel resistance. The year 2023 brought an even more devastating failure with Operation Iron Veil. Intelligence suggested that senior Sinaloa leaders were meeting in an underground bunker complex south of Mazatlan. U.S. Army Special Forces, backed by the CIA, launched an assault at dawn. But upon breaching the steel bunker doors, they were met with a hail of machine gun fire and directional mines hidden behind false walls. 3 American operatives were killed instantly, and 7 others were wounded. The CIA later confirmed that the cartel leaders had left the bunker 48 hours earlier, likely due to a leak from compromised local security forces. Each failed mission exposed a brutal reality. The Sinaloa cartel relied not only on overwhelming firepower, but also on their mastery of terrain, an extensive underground intelligence network, and deep-rooted control over local communities to maintain an insurmountable advantage. They constructed an intricate tunnel system that linked residential areas, weapons caches, drug staging points, and escape routes leading to the sea. Coastal towns became buffer zones where the cartel funded schools and clinics, all while secretly hiding weapon stockpiles and fighters within the community, making any assault perilous due to the risk of civilian casualties. On top of that, American technology was continuously thwarted. Advanced reconnaissance UAVs were neutralized by smuggled European jamming devices, and the thick jungle canopy combined with the high humidity distorted infrared signals, crippling surveillance efforts. During Operation Black Reef in late 2024, all American UAVs lost signal for 20 minutes, forcing ground teams to retreat. The cartel's sheer brutality made decision-making even more difficult. In March 2024, a Mexican security unit stumbled upon 19 bodies hanging from a village gate with a chilling message: "Anyone who cooperates will die." The terror silenced even families mourning the loss of loved ones. But in May, the situation began to shift when the CIA received rare insider intelligence. 4 American citizens kidnapped in Mazatlan were being held in the cartel's primary command bunker. This information was confirmed by multiple sources, including thermal satellite imagery. 4 biometric signals were tracked from an underground cell located less than 50 meters from the central command room. With the imminent threat of the hostages being moved to Central American bases, where a rescue would be nearly impossible, the White House took immediate action. The National Security Council convened for an emergency meeting as the Pentagon deployed tactical reconnaissance and technical intelligence units. Data from Sentinel satellites and MQ-20 Avenger UAVs poured in, continuously mapping a 30-square-kilometer area and creating 3D models of every tunnel, machine gun nest, and escape route. The operation, dubbed Scalpel War, was designed for absolute precision, targeting only the cartel's most critical vulnerabilities. For 2 weeks, Special Forces conducted intense training on a 1-to-1 scale model of the bunker and coastal jungle terrain, coordinating land, air, and sea firepower with real-time data from the USS Bataan Command Center. At 3 in the morning on June 14th, the countdown clock on the USS Bataan's command deck struck 0. From the low-hanging clouds above the Sinaloa coast, 12 MQ-20 Avenger UAVs silently cut through the salty fog, each carrying pre-programmed GBU-69/B guided bombs. In under 40 seconds, the first targets the main communication station, 2 early warning radar arrays, and 3 massive ammunition depots were obliterated in pinpoint explosions, each accurate to within a meter. Almost simultaneously, 8 Tomahawk Block 5 missiles launched from the USS Hopper and USS Imphal struck 2 makeshift artillery positions, an armored vehicle staging area, and a coastal supply route, all obliterated before the enemy had a chance to respond. At 3:15 a.m., the second wave commenced. 3 LCAC hovercraft hit the southern beach unloading Stryker armored vehicles and M1A2 Abrams tanks, which advanced while unleashing M830A1 armor-piercing rounds, quickly breaching the outermost defensive line in mere minutes. On the northern flank, Army Special Forces and Mexican Special Operatives launched a ground assault, cutting off retreat routes and securing hidden supply caches in nearby villages. To the west, CRRC combat boats deployed Javelin teams, silently positioning themselves to take out any cartel armored vehicles that managed to slip past the blockade. As the eastern sky ignited with the first light of dawn, 4 MH-60S Nighthawk helicopters from the USS Baton swooped down near the command bunker, landing at 3 pre-designated entry points. SEAL teams swiftly disembarked, neutralizing guard posts and security cameras in under 90 seconds. Despite hidden directional mines and machine gun fire roaring from the bunker's defenses, the assault teams deployed flash grenades and utilized next-generation night vision goggles, quickly incapacitating entrenched fighters. Do you support this operation? If so, comment number 2, if not comment number 5. At 3:45 a.m., a SEAL team reached the hostage cell. The 10-centimeter thick steel door was breached with shaped explosives, and combat medics immediately began assessing the hostages' health-attaching personal monitoring devices so the command center could track their status in real time. The first group of hostages, 12 people including 2 Americans, was extracted through a secondary tunnel and airlifted offshore by helicopter. In response, the cartel launched a fierce counterattack from the Central Market, where they had fortified 12.7mm machine gun nests and anti-infantry mine traps. Marines executed street-by-street clearing tactics, while Javelin teams launched precision strikes at fortified positions. As M109A7 Paladin howitzers from the perimeter unleashed GPS-guided M982 Excalibur rounds, they decimated the cartel's resistance with pinpoint precision, ensuring no damage to nearby civilian structures. Army Special Forces to the north detected a cartel truck convoy attempting to break the encirclement. 2 AG M114R Hellfire missiles from an Avenger UAV quickly neutralized the convoy, reducing it to twisted wreckage. Meanwhile, the final SEAL team successfully rescued the remaining hostages, including 2 children, and escorted them to the extraction point. The cartel's command infrastructure was on the verge of collapse. Radio communications were jammed, supply lines severed, and the surviving fighters began retreating into western bunkers. But high-altitude UAVs tracked every hotspot, relaying real-time data to artillery teams and Abrams tanks, transforming the cartel's retreat into a one-sided rout. By 5:20 a.m., coalition forces had cleared a 3-square-kilometer area around the command bunker. All resistance points were either neutralized or surrendered. Engineer teams swiftly began planting explosives to destroy drug caches, weapon stockpiles, and fentanyl processing equipment. Explosions rocked the chemical bunkers, sending thick black smoke billowing into the Sinaloa sky. On the USS Baton's deck, augmented reality screens showed the entire target area in green, signaling that it was finally secure. All hostages were successfully evacuated from the combat zone without a single civilian or military casualty. The units withdrew as planned, leaving behind a once impenetrable fortress, now reduced to smoldering ruins. At 6 a.m., the final encrypted message was sent to the Pentagon: target secured, all hostages safe, resistance neutralized. Just 3 hours from the first shot to the last helicopter lifting off was all it took to dismantle the power center of one of the world's most dangerous criminal organizations, achieved through a flawless execution of overwhelming firepower and precision. As the first light broke over the Sinaloa coast, black smoke billowed from the burning chemical warehouses, a stark symbol of the fall of a criminal empire once considered untouchable. The operation's results were compiled on the USS Baton's deck and relayed to the Pentagon. 2,537 Sinaloa cartel fighters were eliminated. 714 were captured, including all senior leadership, with 7 of them wanted internationally for crimes against humanity. A total of 104 critical infrastructure sites ranging from weapons caches and fentanyl labs to heroin factories and cash storage bunkers were either destroyed or seized. The confiscated arsenal was staggering. The seized arsenal was staggering: 1,200 assault rifles, 76 heavy machine guns, 32 shoulder-fired missile launchers, hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition, and over 40 tons of precursor drug chemicals. All 43 hostages, including 4 American citizens, 2 children, and several women, were rescued safely and in stable condition, then transported to the field hospital aboard the USS Baton. Analysis by the Joint Command pinpointed 3 key factors that ensured the operation's flawless success. First was intelligence superiority real-time data from Sentinel satellites MQ-20. Avenger UAVs and ground reconnaissance provided 3D maps down to every square meter, guaranteeing that every strike hit the cartel's most vital targets. The second key factor was the synchronized multi-front assault. Perfectly coordinated land, air, and sea strikes executed within a minute-precise time frame overwhelmed the cartel's defenses from the very beginning, cutting off supply lines and preventing commands from reaching frontline fighters. The third was absolute fire discipline. From Abrams tanks to Paladin artillery. Automated trigger locks ensured that if civilians or allies entered the kill zone, weapons would not fire, effectively eliminating any risk of friendly fire, a feat no previous operation had achieved. For the Sinaloa cartel, this was a devastating blow that reverberated through their entire network. The loss of leadership, the command center weapons caches, and financial resources crippled their operational capabilities. Intelligence gathered from seized hard drives, documents, and communication devices fueled a relentless wave of raids on Sinaloa's affiliates in the U.S., Central America, and Europe. A DEA report revealed that within 48 hours of the operation, numerous plazas, drug transit hubs, were either abandoned or taken over by rival groups, costing the cartel hundreds of millions in monthly revenue. The ripple effect reached far beyond Mexico and Colombia, Peru, and even West Africa. Partner criminal organizations began destroying stockpiles and halting transport routes to avoid becoming the next U.S. target. A European report even noted that a smuggling branch in Spain voluntarily disbanded, further signaling the cartel's collapse. Within days, members of the Sinaloa cartel fled to South America as news of the operation spread. Fear moved as swiftly as the headlines. Cartels now realized that the U.S. was willing to use war-level military force to protect its citizens and dismantle transnational threats. Strategically, the Pentagon saw this operation as a new blueprint for hybrid warfare against non-state entities operating and armed like military forces. An internal report highlighted surgical strikes as the new standard, combining speed, overwhelming firepower, and precision to deliver maximum impact with minimal losses. This was the first large-scale anti-crime operation to meet 3 critical criteria: short duration, absolute success, and 0 civilian or military casualties. However, experts caution that this victory does not signal the end of the threat. Surviving fighters and networks may regroup, merge with other criminal organizations, or adapt to new methods. As a result, follow-up operations are already being planned, including Special Forces missions aimed at capturing fugitive leaders, financial blockades targeting underground banking systems, and coordinated efforts with allies to suppress criminal activities abroad. The Sinaloa cartel once believed that rugged terrain, a vast arsenal, and a shield of civilians would make them impervious to any attack. But in just 180 minutes, that belief crumbled along with their fortress, delivering a harsh lesson to criminal forces around the world: when the U.S. decides to act, no hideout is deep enough, no wall is thick enough, and no amount of time is long enough to wait for rescue. The operation to dismantle the Sinaloa cartel on the morning of June 14th was not just a military victory, it was a strategic statement from the United States to the world. In exactly 180 minutes, over 3,000 American troops, from SEALs, Marines, Army Special Forces, and tactical intelligence units, executed a flawless assault that shattered the cartel's empire. Perfectly coordinated, the operation utilized precise firepower from MQ-20 Avenger UA, V's Tomahawk Block 5 missiles, Paladin artillery Abrams tanks, and multi-front assaults to obliterate a criminal fortress once thought impregnable. Every detail highlighted the unmatched capabilities of the U.S. military 3D target maps generated from Sentinel satellite data automated trigger locks that prevented fire when civilians entered kill zones, and land, air, and sea firepower synchronized to the second. The safe rescue of all 43 hostages without a single civilian or military casualty proved that overwhelming strength and fire discipline can not only coexist, but lead to unprecedented success. For the American public, this operation stands as clear proof that the life of every citizen anywhere is a red line the nation will defend with full force. For leadership, it establishes a new benchmark for hybrid warfare against non-state entities, demanding a seamless blend of technology, intelligence, and political resolve. For enemies, it sends an unmistakable message: no amount of rugged terrain, massive arsenals, or civilian shields can offer protection when the U.S. decides to act. Operation Scalpel War imparted a profound lesson. The power of coordination, advanced technology, and unwavering political resolve can dismantle even the most impregnable threats. With superior intelligence, precise firepower, and strict discipline, the U.S. military neutralized the Sinaloa cartel, rescuing all hostages without any civilian casualties. This operation proves that with decisive action, no fortress is beyond the reach of justice. The outcome serves as a reminder of the critical importance of preparation unity and technological innovation in safeguarding security and upholding human values. In just 180 minutes, June 14th witnessed the collapse of a criminal empire once considered untouchable, as over 3,000 elite U.S. troops unleashed overwhelming firepower and cutting-edge technology to obliterate the Sinaloa cartel's power center, rescuing all hostages without a single casualty. This wasn't just a military victory, it was a bold statement. No place is safe for those who defy justice. What are your thoughts on Operation Scalpel War? Could this become a new model for tackling transnational crime? Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more gripping stories.